Hello and welcome to my 6 unboxing Star Wars video. So today I've got a couple more boxes out of long-term storage, and they were a bit of a mixture of bits and pieces. So this one here has got a Land of the Jawas playset with a selection of vintage figures in. And this big old box over here has got, well, all sorts of Star Tours stuff, a Rancor monster, a lampshade. There's all sorts of bits and pieces in here. Looks like some bubble baths. So certainly some interesting stuff to go through. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so there was a bit of a mixture of stuff in this box, and there was a few bits that I wasn't really expecting. One thing that I do remember trying to pick up a set of these, but never quite got all of them. I think I'm still missing a couple with these British bubble baths. Now these are figural, like Skittle style. This one, Han Solo one here, dated 1984 by Addis Limited, which was a British company. Now there's the Han Solo. This one's actually still full. This is a Obi-Wan Kenobi one in red, giving you, look, 20 baths. You could be very clean with the Force here. Chewbacca. And I remember you would come across these at sort of, you know, boot sales, jumble sales, garage sales in the States with some regularity. But I never seemed to, as I said, they would either be really worn or I wouldn't quite get them all. This one here, 3PO one, that's quite nice. And it's good that they've sort of, the character, like the gold of the character has got the yellow top on him. A Gamorrean Guard here. Don't get many bits of Gamorrean Guard memorabilia. As I said, these are all from 1984. Yeah, I'm not sure why the Ben Kenobi one was still full, but it's very heavy. It's a Luke Jedi Knight one. A purple one. I'm pretty sure I got some more of these in another box, because I did try and get them all at some point, and I think I was just missing one, and I think the hardest to get is a Princess Leia one, which I think is very tough to find. So Wicket the Ewok one. There we are. And then this one here, this is the Darth one. Now I think this one was also quite a tough one to get, as I recall, the Darth Vader one. So that's those. And then I found another bubble bath in the box, which was actually much earlier. This one's still got its tag, and it's from 1981. So this is an Empire Strikes Back one. Omni Cosmetics. This one, Omni Cosmetics. There we are. Quite nice with the tag still on it. Yeah, collect all the Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back characters. They make keeping clean more fun. There you go. Heard it from Darth himself. Quite nice, those figural bubble baths, and something that's still popular to this day is figural bubble baths. So just put them to one side. I think I'm going to have to do this in a couple of sessions, because this stuff, there's some big stuff here to go through. So just pop them to one side. Now I've got a couple of more modern pieces now. So back in the mid-90s, Top Trumps came back with a vengeance. When I had the shop, we sold the Star Wars Top Trumps. This is from Winning Moves, 2004. And it's just like the empty display box for the Star Wars Top Trumps, but quite a nice little set, that one. Worth keeping the empty box on that. And then one of my few later Hasbro figures. So I picked this one up as it was the 500th ever vintage Star Wars figure, or 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figure that Hasbro had ever made. And this is Darth in his meditation chamber. So quite a nice looking figure. This, as I said, I've literally got a handful of modern figures, and this is actually one of them. So you can see there is helmet going on and off. Nice little figure, that one. When was this? Yeah, there we are. Special moment in history of Star Wars 3 3/4 inch action figures, with the introduction of the 500th figure in this legendary collection. 2005. So even that was 13 years ago now, 14 years even. So that's that. And a couple more little bits we can show. So these are original caps from the Star Tours exhibition in Disneyland. But this is Disneyland in America, not the Euro one. It's got $6.95. Is there any date on this one? No, there's no date on that, but I believe these are pretty much early 1990s. There's that one, and then there's another one here. And these both date from the early 90s, as I recall. Don't see these very often. Yeah, they're not dated. Oh, that one actually says 1986. But I can't imagine it's that old, somehow. I would say those are both sort of early 90s. And then one more thing to show you before we get on to the box stuff is this is a Return of the Jedi lampshade. Now, once again, these used to be really sort of common finds at jumble sales and boot sales. And in actual fact, this may not be official. This may be a bootleg item, because this design was actually for the Return of the Jedi curtains, window curtains, and someone may have just taken a lampshade, taken the material, and that may be actually a do-it-yourself piece of vintage Star Wars memorabilia. But it's quite fun, and not the sort of thing you see very often anymore. However, back in the day, there used to be quite a lot of these sort of curtains and things like that, and we've got some more vintage ones to show you in just a minute. But that's all the space I've got on the table now for that, so I'm just going to pause there and clear the decks, and we'll get the next bit out. Okay, so the next bit we've got is a Kenner USA Land of the Jawas playset. Now, this is quite a big old playset, this one, and I think it does warrant taking him out of the box, because it's such a cracking item here. Let's just have a look at the sides first of all. Now, in Britain, Palitoy released their own Land of the Jawas playset, but it was awful. It was just a little like desert backdrop scene, and it was completely missing the shuttle pod. And in America, they're much more what I would call the superior set. So let's get this one out. Now, I seem to remember when I first got this one, it didn't actually come with the instructions. However, I was able to get a set of original instructions online without too much trouble. Thankfully, it took me a little bit of time to find them. Now, one of the great reasons for having this set is for the this shuttle pod, which is the only place you could get this one. The droids would go into. That's really smart. Then you had the bits of cardboard backdrop that would actually you create the sand crawler out of. All bits of card here. And there we are. There's another little tag there. So basically, you had you could recreate the sand crawler. Droids could go up and down there like that. But although, you know, this is cardboard, it does at least have a plastic base, and it comes with the escape pod. So here's the original Kenner instructions for the Land of the Jawas. Obviously, eventually they did release the proper to scale battery operated sandcrawler. There's the instructions. A really nice piece, this one. As I said, far superior to the British version, which just seemed to be produced on the cheap, and I'm surprised they just didn't do a copy of this one. But you know, that is how it goes sometimes. Thankfully, this is one of the ones that isn't too expensive to actually buy nowadays. If you want a nice original Star Wars playset, it's actually fairly reasonable. And this is quite good as well, so you got the room to do the action with the with your figures as well, with the stands. A bit similar to the British Cantina. So the next bit we've got here is the Rancor monster. Now, I actually remember getting this one. This is one of the lucky finds I had back in the day in a charity shop of all places. So this one, and I got a couple of other bits and pieces for like £7.50 for the lot. So this is that original one. It is the tri-logo version, and I think you might as well get this one out. This is pretty straightforward. It's not mint by any means, but as I said, I got it really cheap, so I'm not complaining. Here we go. So, always that great scene in the in Return of the Jedi. Not a lot of movement on this one, just the mouthpiece there, goes up and down. That's the absolutely great scene. So you got the hands and arms and that. It doesn't seem to be in too bad condition, this one at all, to be honest. I guess that was quite an easy item for Kenner to make. Was this a Rancor Cooper? A Rancor monster, rather. How he quite goes back into it isn't anyone's question. There we are. Yeah, it's certainly not that uncommon, that particular one. And when we, when I had the shop, we would all, get offered Rancor monsters all the time. So yeah, this is quite a nice European version of this one. Interesting, it says made in England there. It's got the Palatoy there. Yeah, Meccano, so it is just a straightforward tri-logo version, but cool little item all the same. Now, before we get on to the carded, I've got just quite a few to go through. I did find in the box some bits and bobs. This is a Return of the Jedi pillowcase, of all things. It's from 1983. Not bad. Quite nice to see the size noodles and the Rebo band on the pillowcase. And I also found in this box were the these Star Wars curtains. So this is back to the time of the first movie, and I remember some people had curtains made out of these. They had bedspreads and duvets, duvet covers, pillowcases, all with the same sort of design on. They're pretty good fun. Not sure how difficult those are to get these days, but certainly quite a nice item. Okay, so this is the first of the carded that we got to look at today, and there's about 10 to get through. So this is a Kenner AT-AT driver. Absolutely love this figure, really good. Obviously, as we've seen in some of the previous boxes, the USA Kenner figures do tend to have yellowed bubbles, and this is simply something that happens over time, and the plastic that it was made of, which ironically has made the British or European tri-logo ones, which haven't seemed to have aged so badly, in my eyes, even more desirable, because it's okay, it's nice, got a nice card, but I would much prefer an unyellowed bubble one. And none of these were yellowed when I first got them, but that was 20 to 30 years ago. So this is just what happens with the passage of time. Still a really nice figure though, that one. And in a similar vein here, we've got C-3POs. So this is 3PO with removable arms and legs. Spot a little bit of dust on these. I really must get around to getting these cleaned and boxed up properly. Nice figure that. Once again, a USA Collectible 77 Kenner example of that one, of which there's a few of those in this box. This is a Bid for Tuner. Unpunched again, that one. Yellow bubble, but it doesn't look so bad on him, to be honest. Collectible 77. It's certainly the most common of them, shall we say, the 77 canners. Now this is quite nice because this is a British one, so this is a Palatoy edition of Chewbacca, Collectible 65, and as you'll see, the bubble is clear because it's different plastic being used, and that once again makes these British ones all the more desirable. Really nice figure, that one there, and quite good that actually, although he's not quite holding it, it's nice that it looks as if Chewie's holding that one, holding his crossbow there on the card. So next one we got is Luke Jedi Knight. This is a canner. This is with his green lightsaber. There is a version with Luke with a blue lightsaber. Once again, a collectible 77 canner. And we've got Nick Toe. Exactly the same. This is a collectible 77. Nice, it's unpunched and that. These figures aren't, Nick Toe, not particularly expensive or anything, but obviously needed to be part of the collection. Hammerheads, this is a bit dusty, this one, so this one needs a little bit of a wipe up. Hammerhead was always one of my favourite figures when I was a kid, and I would love to have a nice early carded Hammerhead. Alas, I'm not prepared to pay the £200-300 to get one. Interestingly, the back on this one's almost like a matte back, so not perfect by any means. This one's sort of seen a little bit of wear, this particular Hammerhead figure. That's broken there, but still nice to have one all the same. And as I said, he was one of my favourites when I was a kid. Let's put those over there. Now we got the Attack Commander. Now this one is unpunched. Once again, I do like all the Imperial figures that were released. This one I think would probably look a bit better on an Knights Empire card with that photo of the AT-ATs, but still a great figure, this one. Weapons still taped to the side of the bubble there. So again, a collectible 77 one. And then the last figure we've got to look at today is Han Solo in his Bespin outfit. Once again, yet another 77 Kenner back. Oh, 65 Kenner back. Bubbles yellow, but once again, it doesn't look too bad on this particular card. Some of them look worse than others, don't they? He's unpunched. Really nice nick, that one. Yeah, nice little figure of Han Solo. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this latest look through these couple of boxes from the collection. Certainly a bit of a weird mixture of stuff, but that is the nature of the collection. It isn't just all action figures and toys. There's all sorts of stuff and things like bubble baths and that. It's not to everyone's cup of tea, but it's certainly the sort of more unusual stuff that I like to collect as well, and usually a lot cheaper than carded figures. Anyway, look out for regular Star Wars, vintage Star Wars content every single Friday. I'm going to try and do an unboxing every other week going forward, and when I'm not doing an unboxing, there should be some other vintage Star Wars content of some sort. Do subscribe if you haven't already. I am trying to make my way to 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't, do hit the old subscribe button, and please give this video a like as well. If you have enjoyed it, and check out the other content on my channel for loads more vintage Star Wars. So until next time then, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.